One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com. One of our favorite sponsors is back. Summer tours getting ready to start for Dead and Company and Fish and Billy Strings, and Goose is doing their thing out there. And if you're headed to a venue that you've never been before, you want to know what's going on at that said venue, right?
Absolutely. You want to be prepared.
So the first thing you should do is go to venuelama.com, right?
Okay,
Right.
and when I go to venuelama.com, what's going to happen?
You are going to find an online resource that provides live music fans the insider venue info they never knew they needed. Well, that they actually do need, and that they probably wanted, and now they have somewhere to go to get it. A place where fans can quickly rate venues and share various tips and intel about those venues. Venuelama.com launches in late spring, but they're currently doing a sneak peek for No Simple Road listeners. Head over to venuelama.com/NSR and sign up for your free Llama account to start rating and sharing your venue insider info today. And hey, if you go over there and you sign up before, I think it's July 5th.
No, it's July 4th. All llamas who submit a video venue review by the 4th of July will be eligible to win concert tickets and Venue Llama gear.
Okay, so Mel knows the scoop, Aaron doesn't, and you're going to know the scoop about the venues. So if you want to know what the security's like, or if you want to know what parking is like, where to eat around there, what hotels are good, what's the sound like, where do I sit, all these things and more are answered over at venuelama.com.
And then also check out their Instagram at venuelama.com and their YouTube channel. There's all kinds of cool things happening.
Venue Llama. You could wait and go get merch in the lot from, Joe Wook or whatever, and then
Sometimes those are the dopest.
it's true, but in this case they are not. If you want to check out the online lots, dope as shit, go over to shoptourbus.com and check out the amazing designs. They are Grateful Dead songs told in the form of pictures. You are not going to find anything like this on the lot or anywhere else, only at shoptourbus.com.
Like currently they have The Bus Came By and I Got On with the old school VW bus with the tricolor van and the little bolt on the middle. It's adorable.
And all kinds of stickers, hoodies, all their designs are amazing. What, Apple? What are you going to say?
The one that Mel just said, they have a new restock of the other one and wheel tie-dyes that just look awesome, and they're ready to ship in time for Mother's Day.
These are going to come in an all-over print box with all kinds of extras on the inside. Some of you are even going to get a Grateful Dead Miracle bootleg on the inside of your order. You can't get one if you don't order it. So, hey, check it out. Go to shoptourbus.com and put in the promo code No Simple Road. All one word when you check out, and you are going to get free shipping from our family over at Shop Tour Bus. Support the family.
I'm hungry.
Huh?
Are you hungry?
I am hungry.
Well, I got a very good recommendation for you.
What?
If you are in the Portland area or the Denver area, you should go check out Fire on the Mountain.
Fuego on la
They
montaña.
specialize in chicken wings, but they don't stop there. There's so many goodies to eat at these places, and each month they launch new sauces at each location and specials. So it's a lot to get into to tell you all these specials and sauces. So what you should do is go over to @FOTMPDX or to their website at portlandwings.com.
That's right.
And the Denver one,
At FOTM Denver.
yes, at FOTM Denver,
tough to
and
remember.
check out all the things they have going on. I'll just tell you one of the new ones. Their desserts are amazing. They have deep fried Chips Ahoy cookies is one of the things
What?
they've added this month.
Seriously, man. All right. Yeah, that's the thing. And like Apple said, go to portlandwings.com. When you go there, if you're not in Portland or Denver, you can grab yourself a couple of bottles of their sauces. You can get yourself some of their merch. You know what? This is the Grateful Dead family putting love and intention into everything they do. And this food is fucking amazing, you guys. So go check it out. Fire on the Mountain. And you know what? They're hooking it up and cooking it up.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Bam. Pow.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongSummerCamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongssummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
Nobody says anything. I'm just gonna hit the button and see what happens.
We're always ready. We're highly trained
Yeah.
professionals.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
look
ready
at us
when
go.
I'm
You
not
know
ready.
this.
Are you ready now?
Yep.
How about now?
Oh, now I'm ready.
Hey now, No Simple Road family. This is Aaron. Yeah, see,
This
you
is-
weren't ready.
And this is Apple.
And this is Mel.
This is Darwin. We are back, everybody. We are in one piece. It feels like we haven't been in the studio in like a year, personally.
But to them, they're getting something every week, so it doesn't
They
feel
don't
like
know.
they don't know.
They don't be
nothing.
knowing that
It's-
we put that stuff up to put
what,
out
what
early?
happens. And also to all the listeners will know that listen to the Weekly Rewind, I was again
Stuck.
I was absent this week, so Aaron and Mel had to go on without me. I am home safely now after a day and a half of stuff, and renting a rental car and driving 11 hours and 45 minutes straight from Fresno to home.
Oh,
because
dude.
there's no place like home, and it was a nice drive. I enjoyed it.
What'd you listen to, dude?
You asked me that. I drive Aaron crazy by not like having satellite radio and stuff, and I had a rental car.
11 hours listening to the regular radio.
I listened through the Central California all the way up to about Northern California. I just tuned into radio stations.
God, I would go insane.
And I love that stuff though. Like I've said, I was listening to mostly classic rock and stuff like that. And then past Reading, then you start getting spotty with stuff. And I had no phone charger with me for my phone.
I would have stopped at a gas station and bought a charger.
Which I could have done, but I don't know. I'm stupid, stubborn
You're
about
definitely
some
not
things.
stupid or stubborn. I would not have done that. I would have
yeah,
done
I
the
was
exact
fine.
same thing as you. I like to drive silent.
I did that too. I drove silently when I started getting into the trees and stuff, and just cracked the windows and enjoyed the coolness, because then it got beautiful weather. And then once I got past Mount Shasta, I knew I was in Oregon, and I had about a half a charge, and I linked up my Bluetooth and listened to some cats.
Well,
several things.
I have a suggestion for you and for everybody that's listening to the show right now. You know that No Simple Road is part of Osiris Media, and there's some really amazing podcasts on Osiris that Apple could have been listening to his whole drive, but he wasn't stopping at a charger. But I want to point out one that is from our friend Chris Pandolfi. If you guys don't know about Inside the Musician's Brain yet, you need to know about this podcast. It's Chris Pandolfi is the banjo player from the infamous String Dusters, and
Love you, Chris.
He is interviewing other musicians from all over the musical universe. He's got like Rachel Price from Lake Street Dive, Sam Bush, Lindsay Liu, Chris Funk, the Decemberists. The new one he has out now is MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger. And this is like a musician interviewing other musicians. So you're getting a really... Chris is already
Well,
like...
the title is appropriate, Inside the Musician's Brain. That's where he gets.
Chris is already Yoda. So
Yeah.
you're getting Yoda interviewing other musicians, and it's pretty intense. He's amazing at what he does, and we just wanted to give him a shout out. And Apple could have been listening to Inside the Musician's Brain on his drive.
Yeah, and I should have been. I was dealing with other things, but Chris had some of the earlier episodes. He had Goose on early on. He had a two-parter with O'Teal Burbridge, and he's done several things with Paul Hoffman and Green Sky Bluegrass, and of course his band, the infamous String Dusters, which I think he knows those guys.
He might
it's
know
easy
them.
for him to
Yeah.
get him on the show.
So yeah, you guys should go check out Inside the Musician's Brain, part of the Osiris family, and we love our brother Chris.
And also, if you love banjo, I cannot recommend this enough. You need to go listen to
Yes.
his Trance Banjo.
Trance Banjo.
that's
Yeah.
one of our favorite late night
So
when
amazing.
we've come back from a show and the world is still vibrating and we're out on the porch and we put on Trance Banjo and hang out. That's some good stuff.
Thank you for your music.
Yeah.
Thank you for your podcast, Chris.
So speaking of amazing musicians, this week's guest on No Simple Road, let's hear it for
Jake from Eggy.
Yeah.
Eggy.
Yeah, Jake.
This one was fun too. This got a little emotional too.
We
It
had
was-
Yes.
the
So fun.
honor and distinct pleasure of hosting Eggy when they were here playing at Star Theater. They stayed with us, and so this is an actual like Jake was in the No Simple Road studio.
Yeah, and
for the
we
interview.
interviewed Jake on his own because we had Donnie on the on the call, or was it on the call?
Well, we had Donnie on a call.
Yeah, on a call.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to highlight Jake, and my gosh, it was so emotional and like in such a good way. He's a great learner, and that's what I got out of that. That he allows himself to pick up and learn new things without too much thought that it can or can't happen. It's just driving.
And it's a trip
driving
to
force.
me after meeting them that like it's a weird juxtaposition that the front man of the band basically seemed shy when we first met them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He
but-
seemed quiet and kind of like hanging back, watching everything.
But then meeting him, it made me understand his personality.
100%.
Yeah.
And after interviewing him too.
I'd say after interviewing him too, because you can see by getting to know Jake, you see the wheels are always turning. There's always got a beautiful mind, and he's figuring these things out. And when he speaks, it comes through. Very well.
I love how he mentioned his partner and how solid that she is for him, and how she holds it down when he's gone, and the sacrifices that she's had to make to, make the life that they want come true. And it's just really beautiful to hear how he spoke about that and what's important to him. And it was great getting to know you, Jake.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for staying with us, Eggy. And you know what? I saw a post today that they're,
doing something?
Yeah, they're going to a festival. Here, this one. It's All In Music and Arts Festival, September 9th and 10th. And the lineup is crazy. Like Tab, J-Rad, Umphreys, Corey Wong, Trombone Shorty, Green Sky, Andy Frasco, Main Squeeze, and then Neighbor, Eggy, Karina Reichman, and High Rider.
And they're also going to be on 2024 Jam Cruise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have that announced too.
Oh. Yeah, the whole lineup just got announced. And that's what I was going to say. If you go to eggymusic.com, they have their dates up starting today, May 4th, all the way through September. And they are hitting a lot of festivals, a lot of venues all around the country. So if you want to catch these guys, go to their site, check it out, and see where they're coming near you.
If you're a No Simple Road listener and you follow us on Instagram, you most likely know who Eggy is already. But if you don't, there's a reason that they're on a bill like the festival that I just mentioned. They're amazing. And this is a super talented group of guys, man, that like, if you have the opportunity to catch them coming through your town, please don't stay home that night. Go to the show. I promise you will be richly rewarded with something amazing.
Oh yeah, and if you missed their show when they came and stayed with us, they were playing here at Star Theater. If you missed that, people up here in Oregon in September 22nd through 24th, they will be playing the Cascade Equinox Festival in Redmond, Oregon.
Wow.
I don't know. Anyway, I want to go to that. I really do. Hey, I realized something today, Mel.
Mm-hmm.
We teased something in the weekly rewind, and we never talked about it.
It's a long tease.
we were like, yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute, and then we just went off on a tangent and ended it.
It's like a tantric
Well,
tease.
that was last week. This is this week.
Well, I would like to
tease
announce.
no longer.
You know what? I'm going to let you do the honors. Announce our announcement to the announcement.
Well,
peoples.
our announcement last week that we teased, that we paused and waited till this week to tell you is No Simple Road is going to be having a live podcast at Ophelia's in Denver, Colorado, Dick's Weekend on the Wednesday before it starts.
So it's September 30th.
So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the Dick's run, right?
Nope.
What days are it?
It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's 4 days.
Okay, excuse me. We are going to be there in Denver the Wednesday before that it all pops off.
August 30th,
and are going to be there to freaking podcast with our wonderful friend and therapy client, Andy Frasco. Actually, we're all each other's therapy clients. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, man. So
we really are.
Double bill live podcast, No Simple Road, and Andy Frasco at Ophelia's Electric Soapbox in Denver, Colorado on August the 30th. And, more to be announced there.
I am already so excited that I finally get to eat some edible beets.
That's right.
Food. You know me, I am
stage,
the foodie.
I am equally as excited to eat Edible Beats food as I am to do the first ever live No Simple Road podcast in a venue.
Yes.
We have never done that before.
I'm stoked. This is going to be I can't even imagine what's going to happen with us and Frasco. We may have special guests. We may have special musical guests. We don't know yet. We haven't.
What's gonna happen.
We're in the process of creating this really cool event right before Dick's weekend. So just want to throw that out there. If you live in Denver, mark your calendar. If you are flying into Dick's weekend, fly in a day early. That's right. Get there in the afternoon, get all settled, and then head on over to Ophelia's and come hang out with us and eat some delectable food, listen to some intense, awesome, fun conversation, and have a cool night before Fish pops off at the end of the summer tour.
And we're going to get to take Frasco to a Fish concert.
That's right.
Did you say he's never been?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well,
I don't think so.
Why do you not think so?
I think we talked about it, and I think he said he hadn't been. Pretty sure.
We'll find out. If not,
we will find out.
Well, no matter what, it's going to be special, but there is something about taking somebody to their first Fish show.
Well,
that's so exciting to watch.
It would be his first Fish show with us. Anyway.
Yeah, no matter what.
So yeah.
Let's
how do you guys like that out there?
Yeah, that was the announcement.
How you like me now?
We all just like papers.
Guys, that's cool and fun and great, guys. It's our own promoted event. Like, we created it. We decided it. We wanted to do something, and
every year we're leveling up a little more.
We're trying, little training wheels, taking them off this year.
Feels good. Feels good to ride my own bicycle.
It's kind of like wobbly in the back wheel still, but
well, and definitely, I think we should throw that out there too. Thank you to Justin Cucci and to Edible Beats for this collaborations that we do together. Yeah. Otherwise, this would not be happening.
No, it would not be happening.
Awesome.
It's so weird. I was thinking about it the other day. All of this stuff that's happening right now with all that came together because of we're on an email list from a publicist. That's how all of it began. I got a random
I'm sure
and
a lot
I was
of
like,
things.
should we have this chef on the show, Mel? And you were like, yeah, why not?
Yeah. I think if you want to be on the show and you've got something awesome to say, let's freaking have you on. Yeah. Our audience deserves to know cool stuff.
Speaking of cool stuff, let's get them to the interview. Let's do the business. Get them going. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Follow No Simple Road on the social medias at No Simple Road, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok 0.5, because Apple doesn't usually do anything with it anymore, but whatever, we'll get into that.
Let me throw that out there real quick. A lot of people have seen their friend. I opened my Instagram account to not being private anymore because I had like 400 and something requests. I have not posted since June 2019 when we went and saw Andy Frasco. So
shout out Andy Frasco.
I just really, Instagram is much more relevant in everything nowadays. And anyhow, that's open. More to come.
Yeah. So that's the social media stuff. No Simple Road. You get the picture. You know where to go.
That's
what
also our website, www.nosimpleroad.com, where you can find out all the fun stuff, which Aaron's going to put up shortly is our Ophelia date. All the dates if you want to come hang out with us at a concert or a festival or the Oregon Country Fair. That's all there. Then you want to be like, well, if I'm going to go to the fair, I want to wear my No Simple Road friggin' merch. So you can go on our merch tab, click your cute little medium t-shirt, and then have it sent to your door. And then you go like, you know what? I've never had a tarot reading. I've always been interested. I like Mel and Aaron's vibe. I'm going to buy a tarot reading like our last people did this week. I don't like to mention names because leave them alone. But we had an amazing time.
We have a tarot reading booked for tomorrow night for Matthew from Perpetual Groove.
What?
Yeah.
So be like Matthew. What does he want us to know?
That's fine.
Okay, sorry, Matthew, if you don't.
Shout that
but
out.
also, okay, so we did that, and then there is another thing that's rad, which is Apple Podcasts. You can hit a 5-star on there if you love the show, and then to go even further, you'll be like, you know what? I'm going to leave a couple little sentences about how cool the show is or about how awesome that interview was with such and such.
And we don't have any new reviews this week, but
no,
it would be really wonderful if by next week, since it's the beginning of May, that we had a new review. So if you're hearing me right now and you're getting like a tingle in your solar plexus
you're starting
area,
to feel all hot in your cheeks.
That's me talking to you through the magic of the internet and all of the electronic devices that are in concert right now, bringing my voice to your ears, making your solar plexus feel like that because you're the one that's supposed to leave the review this week. That's the way that works. I'm talking to you.
And that's my air quote birthday month request. Like, please, May is open now. It is. We're recording this on May 4th, and May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
Come on, that's what I'm asking for my birthday from listeners.
I'm asking for Apple's birthday is Patreon.
Well,
that too.
And Patreon also. Yeah, I asked for Patreon subscribers. I asked for Apple podcast reviews. I also asked to blow up that tepid line.
What?
971-808-1524. That number again is 971-808-1524. That is where you can call in and do whatever the hell you want. It is open mic night here on No Simple Road at the Tepid Line. Call in, give us a show review, say hi, give us a recipe, tell us a story, a joke, whatever. You get the idea. 971-808-1524. But hey, let me go back to the Patreon thing. If you sign up on Patreon right now for $1, right, you are going to get a joke of the day. You are going to get...
Is it a day or the week?
Of the week. I'm sorry. Joke of the week. You are going to get all kinds of questions and polls and interaction with your fellow No Simple Road community members. You are going to get every episode of No Simple Road ad-free and early. Okay, boom, check that out. If you sign up for $5 a month, you're going to get access into the inner sanctum, the sanctum sanctorum of No Simple Road, which is our Discord server where you can hang out with the other No Simple Road family members. And
also, I was just listening to our Side Road episode.
He is working hard.
He's working really hard. I haven't even caught up. There's like 3 episodes I have not listened to, but the one I was listening to today was with Quinn Tuff from Tuff Guitars on Instagram, and it was a great interview. I say go listen to it. If you're a Patreon and you haven't listened to it, listen to it. And if you are not Patreon and you want to hear it, sign up. So at least $1. And that's it.
If you don't know what Side Roads is, our producer Corey is producing a secondary podcast that is up only for our Patreon subscribers, and it is producer Corey, and one of us. We're switching up the duties, interviewing musicians, different Instagram celebrities, YouTube people. Simon had his Side Road, so there's an interview with Simon up there. We've got No Simple Road family members that have been interviewed for Side Road. So if you want to dig deeper into the world of No Simple Road, the way to do it is to go to patreon.com/No Simple Road and sign up. There's all kind of benefits over there. And give Apple what he asked for his birthday, because when he doesn't get what he wants, it's freaking sad.
Then Jimmy Mike comes out.
Oh, God, please.
And nobody likes that.
Nobody wants Jimmy Mike, dude. Please. So I think we're done with the business.
Yeah, that was all the business, all the things you can do to support us. And
I feel like we forgot something, but okay.
If we do,
if we did, we'll have to get it next week. And in the meantime, like I said before, if Eggy comes through your town, don't be like,
don't sleep on it.
I'm just going to stay home tonight because I'm a little tired. Don't do that. Go see Eggy, and when you get home, you'll be like, damn, that was a good idea to go do that.
Damn, I'm glad I went.
Mm-hmm. And I think you're really going to dig this interview.
And the one thing in the business that you may have left out is that what we ask you to do that doesn't cost a thing is opening your mouth and telling somebody you love or even somebody you don't like, because maybe they need us in their life even more than the people you like.
Right.
So tell people.
Okay.
That's the best way, word of mouth.
There it is. So let's do this. You guys ready?
Yeah.
We're ready.
All right. Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Jake from Eggy.
Once I got the Backyard berries are being
He did. He sat right there.
From one JB to another.
Yeah, that's right. What's up, Jake? What's going on, man?
How's it going?
It's going. So I didn't ask you this yesterday when you guys got here. Is this your first time in Portland?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
And not just playing, but just
Period.
yeah.
What do you think?
From what I've seen, it's been good so far.
Dave's Hot Chicken and Nike.
I like both those things.
When you got a nice little break in the weather as well.
Oh yeah, you actually came when it's not going crazy.
Well, we've been joking around that we've been bringing the New England weather everywhere we go because it's been raining everywhere.
Dang.
Or snowing in places that we didn't think snow happened. So
Yeah, we didn't think snow happened here either. and then here we are.
So I know that we all know who we are.
Oh, yeah,
but,
that's true.
But
Duh.
we should let everybody in on who we have in our studio because this is special. Jake, you want to take the lead on that?
can try.
Do you know who you are?
Do you know and can you tell us who you are?
I question it every day.
I do too.
You know?
That's good, Jake. Don't ever stop.
Yeah, but I'm Jake Brownstein. I play in the band Eggy, and I'm honored not to just be on this podcast, but to have also been allowed to enter your world of hospitality and crash out here. It's been really, really special. So thank you so much.
Right on.
Yeah, man.
We're super happy to have, for real.
Yeah, Mel was at work today and people were like asking her, oh, how was the trip to Mexico? And, you guys got stuck at the airport and all that shit. And she was like, yeah, and the band's staying with us. And they're like, what, are you guys gluttons for punishment? And she was like, no.
Well, to be honest, this is I think all three of our favorite thing to do. Of course, we love concerts. We love the show. But to be able to host the people that give us so much fucking joy and a home cooked meal, we're already going to eat, so we made a little bit more. We already have a house, so we clean it up. You know what I mean? So this is our favorite thing to do, to see you guys be chill and then go fucking slay it. So it's not it's a pain in the ass. It's a privilege and we're excited to do it. Yes, come chill with us. Forget about it. We have this beautiful home, you know what I mean? So you guys can kind of walk around, do your thing, and it's just for us, it's amazing. We love it. So thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's the feeling is mutual, where it's awesome getting to play music, see a bit of the country, and but it's and connect with you guys at the shows. But it's even more special to be hanging and just chatting and getting to just get really inside some deeper conversation than screaming over the house music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I've wondered, when you're playing on the East Coast and you're working really hard and spending years honing your craft, and then you start traveling around the country, is there a difference in the ways the crowds respond regionally that you've experienced?
I think yes and no. I mean, I think that if you're kind of in this community of, you like these types of bands,
right.
I think that there's always going to be people that are expressing gratitude for what we do. And, we've had really special shows, all around the country now. But I definitely think that there's a lot of familiarity for people on the East Coast, that there's just a lot of bands that are constantly touring around there. And then we get into these pockets of places. I think the first place we felt it was in West Virginia or in South Carolina, where, they're you guys are, we hear all the time, you guys are spoiled in the Northeast. You guys have all this music all the time and we don't get this all the time. And so there's sometimes that greater sense of just importance for and appreciation that we got to come down and play our music. And so I think that there's always going to be that type of response from somebody, but sometimes you feel it on a deeper level from the whole audience.
Right.
Wow, this doesn't happen all the time. So
Yeah.
That's
I
kind of
totally understand that.
Well, yeah, that's how we are out here, the West Coast, especially Pacific Northwest. We get very excited when bands from East Coast, especially, make it out here because it's tough. You're doing it right now. I mean, the distance between the towns that you have to go to, it's a long haul, especially in the winter.
Yeah, and in a van. So, every 3 hours you can be good to add an hour between, who knows why it takes so much longer, but it certainly does. Yeah.
You and I were talking in the kitchen earlier this morning, and we were talking a little bit about like what it's like to manifest your dream,
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, you'd mentioned that you started playing guitar when you were 8 years old, right? And that you always, like, even at your bar mitzvah, you knew this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Why? What was that, man? What made that click in you so early and know it?
Well, it's funny because when I was growing up, I grew up like right outside New Haven, and Yale hockey was like a really big program for, youth hockey for a lot of people. And so a lot of my earliest friends are, we're all hockey players, and I really wanted to be with that. I mean, it seemed so cool. And so for my 8th birthday, my parents were basically like, it's, between starting hockey or playing guitar. And it's funny because I would have been, my guess is a really, really mediocre hockey player. So, I think it's a deep thing for an 8-year-old to have the perspective on. But I was like, music, I feel like I can end up having a part of my life. And maybe it's because my dad played and was seeing how it was still such a big part of his life. But I was like, this is something I can do forever. So I'm going to go the forever route.
Oh, shit.
That is deep for an 8-year-old to think about forever.
Maybe I was deeper when I was 8 years old. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just been something that I've been drawn to. I think it's so cool to be able to have such tangible ways to see progress. I think that sometimes it's only like when you look back to see like how far you've come within certain things. But when you're learning an instrument, you could have those like little glimpses of, well, I know I couldn't do that even this morning, and I just kept working on it. And I think it's just really important to have something in your life that you can just track like growth in such like a tangible way. And I think that's like such an inspiring thing to be able to do. And I think that I just became really drawn to just, music as, I always loved music. My dad, as I mentioned, was playing guitar and stuff. And
was he in a band, or he just was a
he was a songwriter.
Okay.
He always had like a home studio in the basement. And it was funny because it used to be like him getting gear for himself. And then when he wanted to start getting more gear, he had me to be like, oh, it's for Jake, which I certainly, I mean, he's always encouraged me. When I was 9 years old, he encouraged me to record my first song on like his, 8-track digital recorder. And it came time for like the solo section. And I'm like, I don't know how to take a solo. And he's like, well, just go for it. And so I think that there's always just been an encouragement and support to be able to do it. And I think that that's just such like a special world to live in, is like, this is something that brings me joy. It's something that has made me feel more connected with my dad. And so
that's so cool.
I think it's the,
You never felt pressure about it? Like it was always just more like open, no, like you better play, or, it didn't feel that way to you?
No, and I've tried to teach guitar over the years, and, I think one of my shortcomings as a guitar teacher is that I never had to deal with the, like, you got to practice today, you got to get your 15 minutes, or, I was falling asleep with my guitar in my bed. I was so in love with playing music. That's so cool. It's hard for me to understand the, like, I'm always like, so why are you here then? If you don't want to do it.
True.
And that's, there's a lot of people that have actually been able to grow past that and really fall in love with music and have a deep connection. So I always have to check myself to be like, maybe they don't understand now, but maybe it's something that they can really fall in love with at some point. But
was it for you? Was the goal to be able to get out what you were feeling, or was it like more to master like the mechanic of it?
I think it was always, because my dad was a songwriter, there was always that perspective of playing, just curiosity and trial and error and just seeing what comes out of you. And so I think that I've only become better at guitar from just doing it, but I don't think that my goal has ever been to be a great guitar player. I think I've always just been connected to, as you mentioned, being able to find your voice.
Yeah.
Just see where things go by trying new things. And, to this day, I'll if I'm feeling like I'm in a rut or something, I'll be like, well, try and put your fingers in places that you feel like haven't gone before, and just see, even if it's just a few notes that come out in an order that you feel like you haven't done, that could spark a whole new chapter of how you approach music. And
wow.
So I got into the more technical stuff definitely later on. I had like a couple of lessons early on in playing guitar, and it was just too much too fast. I saw how it could become that thing where it's like, oh, I feel like I'm doing this because I have to.
Right.
And so probably the first 5 or 6 years of playing guitar, I was self-taught, aside from jamming with my dad and stuff. And then I kind of reached this level of like, all right, I feel like I've acquired as much knowledge as I know how to find on my own. And that's when I felt excited to take lessons, because I felt like I've fallen in love with this. Now I know why this is going to be beneficial. And there's arguments for both sides of it. There's things that, when I'm trying to learn something more on the side of theory, it's like, oh, this is some stuff that people learn right in the very beginning. And that's really cool too. And sometimes it's harder being like, oh, my fingers and my brain are moving faster than I'm reading this notated music or something. But I'm happy with how the journey's been going so far. So
now, how about the transition? Because we're listening to you playing the lap steel. Was that, do you jump in and self-taught, or was that through lessons?
So with the pedal steel, that was like my quarantine solution to having way too much time on my hands. And it's
good way to deal with it.
Hey,
very productive.
It's something that I've always wanted to do, and kind of figured if there's going to be time to start learning a new instrument, it's going to be when I'm home every single day. And I thought that there was going to be a lot more of like a connection between guitar and pedal steel. I thought there was going to be like a huge overlap. Pretty much non-existent.
Really?
I mean,
It's like starting from ground zero?
It's from ground zero, which I thought was really cool, because I was like, this is an opportunity to maybe some of those things that, if I started guitar as an adult, maybe I would go through it in a different sort of way. And I tried to implement some of that stuff, like practicing to a metronome, or, right off the gate and right out the gate. And I downloaded some videos. I paid like $30 a month, a few months, for somebody that teaches pedal steel online. There's not like too many players in Connecticut. And then I actually found this guy who ended up selling me the pedal steel that I have now. And he's like big on the steel guitar forums, which is, side note, a hilarious place in the universe to exist, because with guitar, it's like, oh, I want to learn this song, I'm going to go online and learn this tablature or whatever. I saw somebody said that they had sheet music to like Tale as Old as Time, Beauty and the Beast, and I was like, oh, that would be really cool to learn on pedal steel. So I reached out, and he was like, PayPal me, $1 for postage. And it's like, this guy literally sent me a physical piece of paper.
Shit.
And that's just not, now it's just like, I'll just email you or here's a link or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just, the pedal steel community is still very much like
Analog.
yeah. And it and everyone's down to pick up the phone. I feel like there's this, it's a really cool community because I think that there's this fear that it's like an instrument that's not going to travel the distance because a lot of the players are older.
Yeah.
So people are so gracious with their knowledge.
That's how I feel about the
Wow.
bluegrass community.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's like a generation. Let's pass this on
Yeah.
to the next generation.
Just keep it going.
Whereas guitar can be a little bit like, don't look at my hands,
Yeah.
Wow.
dime a dozen type thing, much more competitive. And, so to answer your question, it was a lot of, so the guy that I met 15, 25 minutes down the road from me, I took a couple lessons with him, just to kind of check in and see if I was I wanted to like have good technique right off the
You want
bat.
to start right.
But, kind of like how I always end up doing it with music, I just get into like this, I find something on my own and I kind of just start going that direction. I try and be super disciplined about, I'm going to, practice this specific thing, but my ear just seems to wander and that's just what I end up doing. So for better or for worse, I end up just being like, I guess I'm kind of just teaching myself, even though there's this wealth of information out there.
I remember reading interview with Garcia years ago, and he said that like his playing with banjo, he felt like he was fluid. He felt like with the guitar he could express himself. He said the pedal steel was the hardest thing he ever did.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I'm not a pilot. I've never flown a spaceship, but to me, that's like the musical equivalent of, flying a spaceship. There's 5 knee levers. There's 4 pedals on the ground. You're like, kind of
awkward.
Yeah, one of your ankles is going to the left while your knee is going to the right, and there's all this there's all this stuff that's going on, and it's interesting because I've never like noticed anything that will rile up a pedal steel player more than bringing up Jerry Garcia, because he was a very unconventional player.
Right.
Which, I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. I mean, I love Jerry Garcia. I'm already in on that. So when I hear his pedal steel playing, I'm like, man, this is amazing. Right. Once I started playing steel and then I heard Dire Wolf again, I was like, this is one of the best pedal steel moments in history. And but for like a classic pedal steel player, it will get a rise out of some of them being like, he's not a traditional player, like it's not actually how the instrument is meant to be played. And I think Jerry would be the first one to have he did. I mean, that's why he hung up his hat with New Riders, because he was like, I'm practicing on stage. That's not what you guys need.
Right.
But yeah, it's a challenging instrument.
That's so cool to be able to like. Obviously, COVID was no fun, but to take that and turn that into that is really like chicken soup out of chicken shit for sure.
I like the soup more for sure.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. Are you scared to learn? It doesn't seem that way. It seems like you have an easy time learning. Because I know, like, I'll just put myself, for example. I don't like to do that for some reason. There's like this certain thing, especially with music. I never did music, but that banjo upstairs is mine. And once I started to like learn to play anything, just a note or anything,
She's hooked.
I was freaking hooked. But like, even to get there was like scary for me to think like, oh, it's like this whole new thing that you've got to get over. And it's not that like that for everything, but it definitely was like that for music. But for you, it just seems like, oh, well, I'll just try this. Or with my guitar, my dad, I learned it on my own. Have you always been like that about like just learning? And
well, people say like I'm a selective, I have selective hearing. I have selective learning.
Okay.
Which for better, the things that I really like and maybe I'm boxing myself out of learning things that I actually would really love. But I don't think I've ever had fear for, also during quarantine, I started doing like embroidery and stuff. And just like making like cool patches and stuff like that. And anything that I feel like is going to be fun for me and something that is already an interest in some way, I'll dive right into.
You're not scared to try.
No, I think that the most beautiful thing, especially with pedal steel, with guitar, it's like, okay, now at this point in my life, I've been playing, 21 years. It's a little bit harder sometimes for me to get out of my own head of like, well, what is somebody that's been playing music for 21 years? What's that supposed to sound like? I'm on Instagram. I'm seeing, 10-year-old kids that are playing circles around me. And with pedal steel, there was like this really refreshing moment of being like, I am a beginner. Like I can actually share this process with people and kind of like get rid of some of that like expectation of what people think I should be doing at that point. It's like, hey, whatever I'm able to obtain in this amount of time feels really cool to me, And
it sounds dope.
I
You're
love
having
that.
fun.
Sharing the process too. That's huge. Like, again, I'm not too much of a sharer of that stuff like that. Like, what, like brand new stuff coming out the gate.
You've been on Instagram with your banjo?
Well, that was through encouragement from actually listeners that knew that I had gotten the banjo, and I was like, well, I kind of owe it to, everybody knows that it's here and that I'm practicing, so yes. But I don't know that I would have done that without the encouragement. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
scary. It's scary to learn in front of people.
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil Story Made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
Yeah, and I think that just by the nature of being in a band that likes to improvise, it's important to never lose the value of that vulnerability. I think that's what us as listeners are most attracted to in our kind of music, is that we finally reached this point in the night where nobody knows. The band doesn't know. The listener doesn't know what's going to happen. There's times you don't even know if it's going to work out. And getting there together, wherever there is like a really special thing.
Yes, it is.
And so I've tried to be mindful of like, what other parts of my life can I share that same vulnerability?
Oh, wow.
And knowing that nobody knows how anything is supposed to be or how things are supposed to work out or whatever, and all you can do is kind of just trust the way that you feel in your heart and know that everyone is going through a somewhat similar experience of something, and there's so much that can be gained by just being open with people
and showing up. One of the biggest things in life is just show up.
Totally. We stayed at Jay Blakesberg's house during a day off, which we were very fortunate to be able to do. That's literally such a cool thing to be able to say that.
Right.
Sentence. But he actually said that same thing of just being like, he's like, for what I do, it's important that I just show up. I mean, I'm not going to be able to there's going to be no pictures for me at that show if I don't go and take pictures at that show.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
I think that's the case. Donnie and I talk about it all the time with songwriting where, I believe in the muse. I believe in the great thing that channels down to you. But, that guy might have your phone number, but you gotta call the muse too.
That's
you gotta
right.
pick up the phone. You gotta meet them in the middle, and sometimes you're meeting them more than halfway, and just through repetition and taking the shot and making yourself available and showing up. That's when something special can happen. But if you're just always hoping that something calls on to you, a lot of times when something calls on to me, I'm not even in a good place. Like I'm in my car. I'm in the super. You know, it's like I'm taking out my phone and like singing into my phone like a little voice memo or whatever. You know, sometimes when I get that great source of inspiration, I'm not even in a place where I can always channel it. So to be able to make the time for inspiration, I feel like is important, because at least that way you have some sort of opportunity to do something with it.
But you even being able to say that shows a certain level of understanding that like to know when that thing is talking even is a skill like playing pedal steel. You know what I'm saying? Because that, whatever that is, I don't know what the hell that is, but whatever that is, I think is talking to us a lot of the time, and we're like busy. You know what I mean? And to be able to recognize those moments and have the presence of mind to pick up your phone and put it in a voice memo is a big deal.
Yeah. And having the discipline to open that up, which is something that I don't always, you know, I'll go like once a year and like be like, oh wow, that was a really good idea. Or sometimes I'll like have my phone and I'll record like something that I'm playing and then like forget about it and look 6 months later and being like, oh dude, like you didn't even take a video of your hands and you were in some like weird tuning. And so even though you can hear this, it's like going to be, you know, maybe even harder to find out how to do it again.
How are you ever going to find that again?
But I think, you know, you and I were talking about it a little bit earlier, but I think the greatest gift that anybody can have, not just in music and art, but just in life is belief.
Right.
And I think that you make yourself much more available to possibility when you have belief that it's, hey, this is worth me taking 20 minutes and seeing where this goes. This one, you know, melody that is in my head, or this 2-word phrase that for whatever reason just keeps coming back to me or whatever, that it's worth pursuing and seeing if something comes out of it. And like we also mentioned earlier, I think that it's easier to keep believing the more times that you're allowing yourself to make something of those things. You know, that the more that you take that 2-word phrase and say, hey, now I got a full stanza, or I've got a full song, or whatever, you get more opportunities to when that inspiration strikes, to be like, hey, this is important. This is worthy of seeing through. And, you know, I think it all starts with, you know, not being afraid that it's not worth the time.
Yeah.
You know, or trying to already see what you're going to get out of it. I think the best thing is just having the experience and living in that world, that this small, insignificant thing matters right for this very moment. And even if that's the only time that it matters, it lasts only an hour, but it was like a joyful experience in your life, then I think it is worth it on some level.
Jake, that's some heavy ass shit right there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean it.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny and not at the same time, because like there's people get caught up in their web of themselves, of their comfort, of stuff that they were told when they were little, of stuff that they think that they can't do. And you said it so clearly, belief. You do have to believe in yourself. And then it's not stopping there. It's like, and then come with me to what do I believe? Like, let's go down that path. And I know for myself that I've definitely ignored that so much in my life, in my creative side, not all the time, every time, but a lot in my creative side, and which has prompted unsourced fear, meaning like, I don't know where it's coming from. It's not necessarily from my childhood or something someone told me, but it's there nonetheless. And I really feel like it's, you explaining that is really making me realize, like, it's you not taking those small chances on yourself of, like you said, in Mexico, so silly, but not at the same time, sobre la mesa.
Over and over. I thought that when he said that a minute ago.
I was thinking it right now. Over and over and over. I kept thinking of it for no reason.
On the table.
Clearly. And throughout our entire Fish Mexico thing, every time I would walk down the hallway, sobre la mesa, and I was like, why am I thinking that? But that's one silly example because it's current, but I've done that so much. And like you, I've done like voice memos or like little things and then gone back to them like, what the hell was this? What was I even thinking? But not taking the time and were you taking it one step further? Like, okay, well, I'm going to open this up and for, 5, 15, 20 minutes, whatever, however long it takes, let me see it through. And so there's really no question. I just want to say thank you for digging into that a little bit more because that really is kind of helping me to put things into perspective.
Well, I think too, like part of what he's talking about with belief stuff is like, you don't have to believe the whole thing from the beginning. It's like, I don't necessarily believe I've made it all the way. I believe that I can take the steps necessary to get there. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be grand. It can be one section of the dream at a time and having the belief to make it through that and to the next. I know that I believe in myself that I can take the steps to get where I need to be.
Well, and constantly putting yourself in artistic frame of mind, where you're practicing, you're writing, you're doing things that are creative. And so that voice, the muse voice, and then your phone call to the muse, that's it's happening more often because you're allowing it. You're giving it the space and the time. And so I think that that's one of the things that I guess I'll take away from our conversation. Not that it's over, but just like making that space for those little things, because you're so right. Like there's so many things that I haven't let unfold all the way and that could be really amazing. And you're just kind of like
making the wheels turn.
Yeah, you're making my wheels turn. I just want to say thank you for that.
I appreciate that. And, I think that you guys, just by having this podcast and doing everything that you've done and being able to speak to you guys at Peach and you guys putting your platform out there and making it available to people and everything is definitely a testament that you guys all have that belief somewhere. And I think that we can all take something away from that, of just trying to take something that's a passion and that's important to you and just putting that out there for people. And in a lot of ways, we're recording a new album right now. And I think that in the past, certain songs that felt really good in the moment didn't get recorded in the studio or something like that. We didn't make the time for it because we were investing a little bit too much time in like, is this the one? Because we have like a catalog of, about 80 songs that only 10 of them have been recorded or 12 of them have been recorded in the studio. So some of them have already had a life of their own on the stage. And so trying to pick from that pile, there are songs that should have been recorded a long time ago that we kind of were investing too much thought into what it's supposed to mean, what the outcome of it is supposed to be. And right now with this new album, which a lot of it is actually songs that haven't been performed live, which is funny because we should make do on the backlog of things. But we kind of told ourselves, like, it's not up for us to decide what stands the test of what's timeless, what is going to be hitting people in such a all we can do is capture a moment in time. And one, and I feel the same way about a show where you want to be present in the moment, you want to give your heart to the experience, but once that show is done, I think the Grateful Dead have done a very good job of kind of creating that platform for people where it's like, now it's in your hands, now it's the fans that are deciding what the most special experience was. And what's so cool about it is that we could have 4 people in a room right here and all touch on a different moment, even during the same show. That it's like, oh, you loved that. Well, I loved this part. And so I think that's just some mentality that I'm trying to carry into the rest of my life, whether it's in the studio or performing live or, having some conversation with people where, all we can do is make ourselves available to the moment and try and follow it through without placing some sort of expectation of how it's supposed to resonate, how it's supposed to resonate in my life or your life or in the greater sense of the world or whatever. Just be like, well, I was in it when it happened. And I took value in sharing in that moment. And, this song felt really good to perform right now. And I hope that I always look back and I always say, oh, I could, you want change, you want growth.
Totally.
So the cost of change or growth is that, you're going to have some moment of hindsight of being like, wow, I would have done that differently.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I can try and already put my mind in that future place of like looking back at something that I'm like haven't even done yet, and
you and I play the same shit.
And future memory.
Yeah.
Future memory.
And it's just going to make you stop, I think.
Yeah.
At least
agree.
for me. So I've just tried, and the band as a whole has just tried to kind of just trust our intuition a little bit more of just like, this feels really good right now and nothing is going to feel better than what is feeling important to us in this moment. And there's going to be a lot more moments. I mean,
I see it in your faces, like, especially recently in the videos you guys have been putting out, like the joy that you guys have on stage is clear. It's present. It's a thing. You can see what's going on, and that's not easy. That's not you don't see that all the time.
And it's not easy to maintain.
Even when the music's great.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That sometimes that's not something that's there too. And I think that's something special that you guys have. And we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. It has to do with the relationship that you guys share as a brotherhood of band members, but I think that's part of what the fans are picking up on too, is that joy.
That's one of my favorite things. It's seeing a band on stage, seeing a band member like get excited and get off on another band member or what they're doing.
Yeah.
When you catch that look between two people in a band or the whole band of them being like holy shit, bro, and then you jump on it, and it's like capturing those moments that were just made right there. Like you said, the band doesn't know, nobody knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And when you see those moments live, it's like, fuck,
And
yeah,
I think
that's the moment that's like, fuck yeah.
I think it's like I said, it's a testament to your guys' relationship. And I think that it's a byproduct of your mindset.
Yeah, you really have a very astute mindset for what you're doing, because it's not easy. You're doing it.
Shit's hard.
Travel, the constant energy that you got to put out, whether you want to or not, And so for physically, of course, you have to be on top of it, but mentally is so important. And what that mental aspect, how do you keep that sharp? How do you keep that healthy? How do you keep that strong?
Well, I think certainly, what you were touching upon, Aaron, is that it's definitely being able to be doing this with people I love.
Yeah.
That has been a huge source of comfort and joy, and knowing that you have people that are there to support you and root you on. And, as we mentioned earlier, being able to look, to share this moment on stage with somebody that you've shared all of your hopes and dreams with, to have gone, after a show and you're up at 3 or 4 in the morning together, looking up at the stars and talking about how badly you want that for yourself, to be on that stage, to make people feel the way that you felt that night, and to have been able to have the privilege of growing together to actually be able to reach these points in our life where it's dude, we're doing that right now. Like that's us, that, is super special. And then something that, we talked about earlier as well was like, I had this during our fall tour, I had this kind of revelation of like, I love learning. I love the process of trying to raise this band up from the bottom and try and see what we can make of it. And there's a lot of things that go into it that keep you kind of, we're also all, either in our 30s or approaching our 30s, and I'm engaged. I have a lot of personal goals in my life as far as stability and all these things that are driving my train to say, let's keep going, let's keep moving forward, let's keep moving forward. And I kind of had to check in with myself this last fall tour, about halfway through, once we hit Colorado. We were about to go on a big, we were going to do 3 nights. We were going to headline our first show in Denver. And there was some buzz that tickets were doing really well and we're going to sell out and everything. And, we've been playing some awesome festivals and all these things this past year, and just a lot of like really amazing moments that we're getting to share together, but can sometimes feel this pressure of what it's supposed to mean or what it's going to manifest into. Well, if we're on this stage, I would have never have known when we played the Grove stage at Peach Fest 2 years ago that we would have been opening up one of the days on the main stage the next year and playing 2 sets. And so trying to imagine how it all works out, and I want to always have the drive. I want to always have the passion, but I had to check in with myself before this run and be like, I don't want to look back at somebody who is only looking forward. Like I want to have, when I think about something, I want to remember how I felt on the stage. I want to remember, how it felt writing that song or that drive after the show. And if I'm only ever thinking about the future, then when I think about, when I go back into my memories, it's like somebody that wasn't even there.
Yeah, you're not present.
And I think that it could be a really special thing to have drive and to want to see all of these goals, because I think goals are, and having manifestations all starts with having a vision and having a goal, and there's nothing wrong with having some type of intended outcome. But I think all you can do is ask the universe for the things that you want and just hope that it comes, back to you at some point in some way. You can't control how it actually happens. Yes. You can ask for it, but you can't, you got to be cool with however it works out.
You don't know how it's going to show up, if it's going to be in a box, if it's going to be on a train, if it's going to show up in your house one day. Like, you have no idea how the things that, like you said, ask for, evolve or show up in your life. And that's the part of life that's dope.
It's the thing that keeps you interested and keeps relationships fresh and exciting, and allows you to look deeper into yourself and into your relationships and the people that you love. And I think also it would be foolish for me not to mention, I've been with Katie, my fiance, for almost nine years now this month. Wow. in March.
Congratulations.
And I appreciate that. And she's the 5th band member. She's my my biggest supporter, but just the biggest supporter of all of us, and has gone through, we lived together in an apartment, and then when I had to quit my full-time job, she moved into my parents' house with me for a year. Now she's been living at the band house, and
she's willing to go all the way. Clearly,
she is my hero. She has so much drive, so much focus. She has such a positive attitude and just selflessness in her life, and just being able to have somebody that I'm so inspired by on a daily basis is something that it's like, if this person that I think is like a superhero, like this badass woman who is just got it so right, you know, believes in me, I'd be foolish not to believe in myself.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking
that's
about.
Rad,
Yeah.
Jake, because you know, when you think of a musician, it's, you know, maybe people know or don't know, but that life is hard because you're transient for so much of it. So that doesn't necessarily mean stability. And so having a relationship, when you're in a relationship, I think that both partners would like stability if you're in a monogamous relationship, you know, and so to have somebody who's understanding, but not just that, like you were saying, like inspiring, supportive, and, you know, all these things, driven and focused, that is something that could propel you to the moon.
I think that, you know, I've been blessed in my life. I've had, you know, lifelong friendships. I've had incredibly supportive parents and grandparents and, you know, just amazing people around me. And, you know, to have Katie as my partner in life, I mean, has been the greatest joy ever. And it really makes me want to, it's a sacrifice to be away from home, to be away from her.
Sure.
We're, you know, we're getting married at the end of the year. We have a lot of life goals and things that we're excited to share together. Mm-hmm. And so to take for granted this opportunity that I have right now to be playing music and doing what I love, you know, is doing a disservice to the life I'm trying to create with somebody.
It's not fair.
You know, it and so I definitely think that that's had a huge impact on me trying to, you know, constantly check in with myself and check in with her and just make sure that, you know, it's just taking stock in things that you should be grateful for and appreciative of. And it makes it a lot easier to just enjoy those moments because
you are being grateful.
Yeah.
Like it feels like, think about when you're away from home, you know, you made your bed, you know, your gas tank is filled, you packed properly, all those extra little worries just kind of melt away. And so that gratitude that you're talking about, that takes away any of like that emotional kind of the ties that might be loose. You know, when you're super appreciating everything, you can go on the road with a clean conscience because you know you're not taking stuff for granted. You know you're being grateful. And so it takes that weight off for you to be even lighter and freer on stage.
Yep.
Yeah. And I have taken it for granted.
We all
you
have.
know, I've really, you know, a lot of what I'm talking about now, it's a daily practice to be able to, you know, I'm saying it out loud to you guys as much as I'm saying it out loud to myself, to be able to keep perspective over the values that are important to me, because we can all say that we don't want expectation, but we all have them.
We do.
You know, and
it's hard not to.
And you know, there's so many things that when you care about something so deeply, it's hard to separate yourself from how things actually come to pass. And so, you know, I feel like there's definitely been moments where I've even seen people in my band be able to come out of something so refreshed, so revitalized, so appreciative, where maybe I got in my own way, you know, and, you know, I'll listen back to some recording and be like, was it really that, you know, it was pretty good, you know, like why was I beating myself up over it or whatever. And, you know, that one note that you just lasted a second, but you decided to carry it with you for 45 more minutes in the set or whatever. And so a lot of it, you know, we've been doing it for long enough where it's trial by fire. It's coming home and feeling like, well, I didn't just leave the love of my life for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks to come home feeling like this, because also it's important that we're constantly growing together and giving energy to one another. And I know that her joy is my joy and also my joy is her joy. And so to be in a place of, you know, her supporting me when I'm not even supporting myself, and living in the moment and being appreciative of opportunities that we've really, really been fortunate to have. Being able to talk with you guys and for you guys to even care what I have to say. I mean, it's a testament to that something special is going on right now, because I really value your guys' time, and I you guys are just unbelievably supportive and kind and reflective, and I can tell that you guys all are very passionate about what you do. And so to speak with me, I want to take stock in something like that as it's happening, rather than hope, because life goes by fast. And
Tell me about it, dude. And there's always going to be that, like, I think that's just life, the push and pull between what you know you should be doing and what you're doing, and the right and the wrong, and getting in our own way and not. It's a constant push and pull between those two things inside of ourselves, and it doesn't ever end. And it's just like you said earlier, I think it's just finding that balance and learning to, like, pedal the bike.
It reminds me of, like, driving a manual, like when you can do those transitions real smooth, but when you first start out, you're really clunky,
Turkey.
Next thing you know, you're driving and it feels just like an automatic car. You can't feel those bumps,
Totally.
So when's the album going to be done?
So we're going out. We're recording it in April with James Petrali from White Denim. He's the songwriter of that band, and we've all been huge fans of him for years and his music. And there is a power in connecting with people online and stuff, and kind of just reached out to him on Instagram and took our shot with, we had sent him some demos of things that we were working on, just to be like, hey, how do you feel about this? And he had, like, a really positive response. So we I was like, I remember we were sitting and getting, like, barbecue somewhere on our way down to Florida. And, I'm like, I'm going to just say to this guy, like, hey, it would be foolish not to say that it's a dream. It would be a dream come true to collaborate with you someday. And he was, like, super enthusiastic about it. And so a few of us went down a few weeks ago and spent about a week out there to kind of just get a feel for what it would be like. And then we're going to spend 3 weeks in April, which is we've never done something that's through such an extensive period of time. We've always dreamed of being able to record an album where it's like, hey, it's hard to actually live in the moment when you schedule 2 days to record and then you're off for a month, and then you're trying to get back in that headspace a month later just to be doing it for 3 days or something. And so it's hard not to keep coming back with new perspective, because you are actually returning to this thing that you've been doing something else. And so to be able to live in that world for 3 weeks is going to be really exciting. And so that's happening in April. And then, whenever it comes out, hoping that it's towards the end of this year. But I know that I've gone on record before saying that something is going to happen. And then it doesn't happen. So, yeah.
You guys are making an album and it's coming out sometime.
Yeah.
This millennia.
Well, we're super stoked about seeing you tonight. We're so excited. So freaking excited. I was at work, like, yes, getting ready for it. And just thank you. Thank you for your insights today. Thank you for being part of such a brotherhood of men that are doing something really incredible. You guys, it's not just the music, it's what you guys have together.
Yep.
And we see it. And I just want to acknowledge that, because we love your music, but it's not just your music that we love.
Yeah, it was you guys first. Like, the music, we met you through the music, but then when we met you guys, we were like, oh, these guys are part of it.
And I also want to say a shout out to Katie for keeping the home fires burning and taking care of her man while he's away from the road too. Shout out, girl. Good job.
I'll just reiterate what I said before you guys left, is that thank you for letting us get to know you and spend personal time with you and get to know you on
it's a privilege.
Another level where it makes it funner to root for you guys, like going to see you tonight. Well, seeing you up there and being like, yeah, we were having coffee this morning, right? That's my buddy ripping up there.
We really do feel the same way, and I think that it's a mirror. We feel the love that you guys have to give, and I have no problem saying that. A lot of people that want to talk to us on this type of platform, don't go to the places that I know that you guys have gone, not just with us, but also, other podcasts that I've heard you guys do. And you guys are just unbelievable people, that you guys are lovers of music, but you also are lovers of human connection.
Yeah.
And trying to get on a more personal level with people.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that if we can all carry that into everything that we do in our lives, is that, all we have is each other, and anywhere that we're going to go there together. So it's a beautiful thing, and I'm honored to share that with you guys.
Thanks,
Love
Jake.
you, man.
Jake.
Hey,
Love you guys too.
everybody, if you don't already do it, go listen to Eggy.
Follow Eggy,
Follow
listen to
them and
Eggy,
download their stuff, and buy the merch when you go see them, and buy the ticket early,
right.
so
And
that they
I
know
always
you're coming to the show and all that stuff.
Do
'cause
all the things.
Shit ain't easy, man, and it's tiring, and it's hard, and it's fun, and they're doing it because they love you and they love the music. So give it to them.
Go check out those live performances that are constantly growing on YouTube.
All right, we good?
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Thank you guys.
But it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. Shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Hi, this is Paul Phelps.
And this is Monica Strutt.
And we're from the Daily Music Business Podcast. We're joined by a number of other really great hosts in creating daily content with great advice for independent musicians just like you.
That's right. We put out episodes daily on all topics from music marketing to branding, advice on signing with a manager and label, and anything else you need to up-level the business side of your music career. We've got it covered.
Subscribe to the Daily Music Business Podcast today on your favorite podcast catcher.
Subscribe today to the Daily Music Business Podcast on your favorite podcast platform.